All right, how you guys doing today? We about to get into First Corinthians chapter 9, I believe. First things first, make sure you like that video, hit a little exit full screen, scroll a little bit, like it, and then full screen it back up. You feel me? Regarding chapter 7 with the virgins thing, mostly, not gonna lie, I don't remember. I'm gonna have to rewatch it again. It was such a, I believe it was a weird explanation for what it meant that I don't think it really has modern day appliance, but I'll go back and re-listen to it again because I did re-listen to it, but I'm also doing this at the end of the day where I typically do this in the middle of the day, and I'll listen to that sermon directly after the recording of the video. So I'll listen to it directly after. It's been a whole day. Usually this much time doesn't pass between the videos when I record them, but we'll get back to it. But today was good. Hung out with my friend. They taught me how to skate a little bit. I can stay on a skateboard now. You know what I'm saying? My balance evolved a little bit. I was almost late to my research assistant thing. I ran over there. I was sweating, boy, like crazy. Just went to dinner with two of my friends. Fantastic. I'm doing great. Have not worked on my paper at all today, but it's fine. It's fine. You know what I'm saying? We taking things slow, as they should, But it's back to the word. Am I not free? Am I not an apostle? Have I not seen Jesus our Lord? Are you not the result of my work in the Lord? Even though I may not be an apostle to others, surely I am to you, for you are the seal of my apostleship in the Lord. This is my defense to those who sit in judgment on me. Don't we have the right to food and drink? Don't we have the right to take a believing wife along with us, as did the other apostles and the Lord's brothers and Cephas? Or is it only I and Barnabas who lack the right to not work for a living? Who serves as a soldier at his own expense? Who plants a vineyard and does not eat its grapes? Who tends a flock and doesn't drink the milk? Do I say this merely on human authority? Doesn't the law say the same thing? For it's written in the law of Moses, do not muzzle an ox while it is treading out the grain. Is it about an oxen that God is concerned? Surely he says this for us, doesn't he? Yes, this was written for us, because whoever plows and threshes should be able to do so in the hope of sharing in the harvest. If we have sown spiritual seed among you, is it too much if we reap a material harvest from you? If others have this right of support from you, shouldn't we have it all the more? But we do not use this right. On the contrary, we put up with anything rather than hinder the gospel of Christ. Don't you know that those who serve in the temple get their food from the temple, and that those who serve at the altar share what is offered on the altar? In the same way, the Lord has commanded that those who preach the gospel should receive their living from the gospel. But I have not used any of these rights, and I am not writing this in the hopes that you will do such things for me, for I would rather die than allow someone to deprive me of this boast. For when I preach the gospel, I cannot boast, since I am compelled to preach. Woe to me if I do not preach the gospel. If I preach voluntarily, I have a reward. If not voluntarily, I am simply discharging the trust committed to me. What then is my reward? Just this, that in preaching the gospel, I may offer it free of charge, and so not make full use of my rights as a preacher of the gospel. Though I am free and belong to no one, I have made myself a slave to everyone, to win as many as possible. To the Jews I became like a Jew to win the Jews. To those under the law, I became like one under the law, though I myself am not under the law, so as to win those under the law. To those not having the law, I became like one not having the law, though I am not free from God's law, but am under Christ's law, so as to win those not having the law. To the weak, I became weak to win the weak. I have become all things to all people, so that by all possible means I might save some. I do all this for the sake of the gospel, that I may share in its blessings. Do you not know that in a race all the runners run, but only one gets the prize? Run in such a way as to get the prize. Everyone who competes in the games goes into strict training. They do it to get a crown that will not last, but we do it to get a crown that will last forever. Therefore I do not run like someone running aimlessly. I do not fight like a boxer beating the air. No, I strike a blow to my body and make it my slave, so that after I've preached to others, I myself will not be disqualified for the prize. In one of the past sermons, it actually said that Paul was a tent maker by trade, and he continued to practice the tent making even after he was saved and throughout his ministry. And I guess this really goes to show why he's doing it. Because he talks about reaping the benefits of this. He's saying, who serves as a soldier at his own expense? He says, who's planting and doesn't eat the grapes, and who tends the flock and doesn't drink the milk? You know what I'm saying? And he's saying, don't muzzle an ox while it's treading out the grain, so that we can be able to share in the harvest. Therefore he's saying, don't shut me up while I'm preaching, because I'm preaching to share in the harvest, because this is what you're supposed to do, to share in the harvest. And I've sown the spiritual seed among you. I've given you what you need to be saved in eternal happiness. Is it wrong to take money from you? But then this goes back to what he said in Romans 2. He says, we should be helping the Jews out. They gave us the opportunity to get saved. The Jews is my best friend as far as I'm concerned. They said, ooh, I don't want God. God said, Jews don't want me. Gentiles, here you go, eternal happiness. Hey, yo, Jew boy. You my, oh, I'm wildin'. I'm wildin'. And he's saying we didn't use this right. On the contrary, we put up with anything rather than hinder the gospel of Christ. And I think he's going to say, I think he's saying this to go to show that one, it's not about the material things of this world. You know what I'm saying? And two, he's saying, I'm not even doing this for the money aspect of it. I'm working myself to the bone to save y'all. I'm doing my job, making my money that way. I'm not getting paid for saving people. I'm saving people out of the goodness of my heart because that's what I'm told to do. Which is crazy. He said, I'm not getting paid for this. I do this because I love you. I love you so much. I'm going to do this whole other job and not get paid for it because I love you that much. Those who serve in the temple get their food from the temple. You serve at the altar, you sharing what's on the altar. So if you share the gospel, you should get your living from the gospel. But that's not me though. That's not me though. I haven't used any of these rights. And I'm not writing this in hopes that you're going to give me some money. I'd rather die than deprive me of this boast. The KJV puts it as glorying, but NIV put it as boasting. And we're told that no man should boast in the Lord. So I don't really know why they picked that word. So here I am looking at what other things this Greek word could mean. It's translated to boasting one time, rejoicing, to glory, glorying, rejoice. I think boasting has a different meaning with the Greek because I'm boasting in the Lord. He did tell us we can boast in the Lord. But it sounds like in this context, he's boasting about himself to me. That's how it sounds to me. But then he does say, when I preach the gospel, I can't boast because I'm compelled to preach. Woe to me if I don't. And he tells us I'm free, but I made myself a slave. To the Jews, I made myself a Jew. To those who don't have law, I made it to that way. I'm weak because people were weak and they needed to see that weak people could use the gospel. People that don't have the law need the gospel. The people that have the law need the gospel. The people that are slaves need the gospel. I do all this sake so I may share in its blessings. And he tells us, one person gets the prize in the race. You race to get the prize. There is no participation trophies. You can say, I participated in the race. I deserve a prize because I participated in the race. But there's going to be, so there's people that didn't sign up for the race. Those are unbelievers. There's people that signed up for the race. The believers. You need to race like you give a crap. Because people that race to get the prize competes in strict training. If you're racing to win the prize, there will be strict training. It's like the Olympics. I guess everybody could try out. Basically, the unbelievers, they ain't good enough to make it. The believers, they were good enough to make it. Some Olympians are going to train harder than others. Some are just going to say, I made it to the Olympics. That's good enough for me, I guess. Or maybe everyone's running in this race. People are trying to get the crown that will not last, but we get the crown that lasts. And he says, I keep my body and bring it under subjection by any means, that when I have preached to others, I myself should be a castaway. That's a really good song, by the way. Castaway by Yuna, featuring Tyler, the Creator. It's a pretty good song. Not standing the test, not approved. So that what I've preached, I don't stand up. I don't measure up. That's what he's saying. I keep myself under subjection so that what I've preached, I myself should not be somebody who did not measure up either. He's not running around like a chicken with his head cut off. He's not just shadow boxing. He's in that mode. He's bob and weave. You know what I'm saying? He's hitting all them blows. We got to get like that. You know what I'm saying? We can't run around aimlessly. We got to try. We got to be putting that work in. But it's not us. You got to ask God to put that work in for you, through you, which is what I'm working on now. It's not me. It's I got to ask God to give me the strength and work through me to carry out his will, to deny my sinful flesh. That's what we got to do. We got to ask God, work through me so that I may bring people to you, so that I may become like the people that need to see this. And boom, that's all there is to it. We ask God, hey, work through me. Now, there's also going to be some work on your part, or at least it's going to feel like there's some work on your part. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get temptations. And when he's tempted, that's you. You know what I'm saying? You got to beat the temptation by turning to God. If there's a naked woman in front of you, be like, God, take this temptation away from me. And you turn and you walk away. Yeah. All right. That's going to be the end of the chapter. Hope you guys have yourselves fantastic rest of your day. Peace.